Hi everyone, welcome to my brief literature lesson, and today's lesson will be on William Shakespeare. Now, who was William Shakespeare? Well, he was a famous playwright and poet of the 15th and 16th centuries. An interesting fact about him is that he was born April 23rd, 1564, and he died on April 23rd, 1616. Do you notice something here? Well, he died on his birthday. So basically, he was born on the same day of his death, which is pretty sad, but also a very strange, bizarre coincidence. Another interesting fact about William Shakespeare is that he introduced about 3,000 words into our language, which is kind of a lot if you think about it. Reading Shakespeare. One thing one must understand about reading Shakespeare is syllables. The next slide after this one will prove why. Just a quick review, syllables are basically parts of individual parts of words. For example, the word water and the word Shakespeare. Water, Shakespeare. These two parts of the words are what make the whole word what it is. Therefore, each of these words have two syllables. So here's where I'm getting at. Most of Shakespeare's writing, or a lot of Shakespeare's writing, is in what's called iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter is a type of style of writing and poetry. The characteristics of this type of poetry is that there are no rhymes in this type of poetry, and there are two types of syllables in this type of poetry. There are accented syllables and unaccented syllables. Now, what's the difference? Well, with accented syllables or accented parts of words, there is stress or emphasis in certain sounds of words when you read them aloud. With unaccented syllables, in parts of some words, there are no stress or emphasis when you read something aloud, meaning that it's a pretty dull sound and there's no upward sounding in your voice when you read it. I'll explain that in the next slide. So the quick thing to remember is that for when you mark accented or stressed syllables, you use a little dash symbol like that. When you're trying to mark unaccented syllables, or no stress syllables, make sure you use a U type of symbol. The next slide is gonna cover just that. So here's an example of iambic pentameter from one of Shakespeare's sonnets or poems. Now I want you to pay attention to how I say this um, poem or part of a poem. And I want you to pay attention to how my voice sounds in each of these things as I say them. So if you notice, this is the U shape I was talking about, and this is the dash symbol I was talking about. Now I want you to pay attention to how I read this. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? That's just a brief idea of it. But if you get the idea, some sounds sounded more low than others. The ones that I went up with are the ones that I marked with the line right here, or accented soundings in the words. So another thing, if you realize it, as I was reading, shall I compare? If you think about it, I'm going down, up, down, up, almost like a roller coaster. Well, that's basically what ionic pentameter is. You're basically talking in an up and downward or down and up motion like a roller coaster. That's what creates this type of style of poetry. If you would like to understand this a little bit more, here is a link to a YouTube video that will further explain or better explain what I just taught you about ionic pentameter. I hope this video was useful though. I expect all of you to do the worksheet I provided for you in class, and we will go over that on Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow and have a good day.